The Grand River Dam Authority will look back on 2012 as a busy year marked by large projects, new initiatives, and continued efforts to meet the broad GRDA mission on several fronts. The year began with a new commitment to communications. GRDA met with its customers at a series of January meetings at the Energy Control Center. Those meetings were a chance to present the authority's 10-year financial forecast and discuss many of the projects GRDA was focused on in 2012. It was also the first opportunity for new CEO Dan Sullivan, who joined GRDA December 1, 2011, to meet many of the customers. In March, the GRDA Ecosystems Management Department was still finalizing its plans for a lake advisory system and a new plan for collecting water quality data to be included in the new statewide notification system. Also that month, CEO Dan Sullivan met with coal-fired complex employees at an all-hands meeting to discuss the organization's safety statistics and the important role employees play in following safety procedures. Continuing with that theme, GRDA Wellness Coordinator Debbie Simmons also introduced new state wellness programs being offered in 2012 at meetings with employees. While most of the year would be marked by a drought, March did present some heavy rains in the area. On March 23rd, as many as 9 floodgates were open at Pensacola Dam and 3 at Kerr Dam. In April, GRDA hosted the first annual Summer Lake Launch event at the Ecosystems and Education Center. It was open to the public and provided an opportunity for visitors to get information on boating rules, dock permits, and GRDA's Summer Lake programs. Also in the spring, GRDA completed the mandatory inspection of the Pensacola Dam roadway and bridge decking. The project went very well, was completed ahead of schedule, and revealed no structural issues with the historic dam.
We feel like it's gone very well. We've actually been able to move a little more quickly out here than we thought we would. And for a structure of its age, it's remarkably clean. It's in good shape, and the better shape they're in, the easier they are to inspect.
One of the more interesting stories of the year occurred in April when prehistoric human remains were found on private property, but within the Markham Ferry project boundary, just south of Pensacola Dam. GRDA helped provide security for the site while the Oklahoma Medical Examiner's Office completed the dig. This picture of the Kerr Dam impeller being removed was taken in late April. The work was part of the ongoing Kerr Dam Unit 3 upgrade project, which continued throughout the year. Finally, in the spring, GRDA was once again the host for the 2-day Grand Lake Watershed Conference at the Ecosystems and Education Center. Speakers from all across the 4-state watershed region spoke for 2 days on topics ranging from metals testing to reservoir dynamics. The real key, though, was the opportunity to have all those experts in one place at one time.
It's pretty unprecedented. There's Kansas, Missouri is here talking about their efforts in this basin of this lake, and who's it going to benefit? The people that use Grand Lake.
As spring began to wind down, CEO Dan Sullivan, Chief Operating Officer Tim Brown, and Chief Financial Officer Carolyn Doherty visited the credit rating agencies, Bankers and Bond, and Tax Council in New York. The goal was simply to meet face-to-face to discuss future plans and gear up for another possible credit rating upgrade. Also in the spring, Unit 1 at the coal-fired complex underwent a short scheduled maintenance outage to prepare it for the heavy demands of the upcoming summer. By that time, the facility was also well underway with the refined coal process, which began in late 2011.
We feel that the emission reduction benefit and the cost benefit to our customers have been well worth the effort in getting this project going.
The arrival of summer also marked the beginning of an efficiency audit of GRDA conducted by the KPMG firm. Personnel with KPMG spent several weeks researching GRDA, interviewing employees, and compiling other information to be rolled into their final recommendations for efficiency improvements. The study was a follow-up to the findings of the Oklahoma State Auditor and Inspector's report on GRDA, which was made public before the year began. The KPMG study findings would be made public later in 2012. In June, several members of the GRDA Engineering Department made the move to the authority's new Engineering and Technology Center facility. The building is located in the middle of GRDA's 24-county service area in Tulsa and is still undergoing some renovations to better suit the space for GRDA's future needs. Also in June, GRDA officially joined the Large Public Power Council, an organization comprised of the nation's largest publicly owned electric utilities. The organization's public policy priorities really mirror GRDA's, and that will help the authority as it faces future regulatory issues. Back on the lake, volunteers helped clean the shores of Grand Lake in early summer when GRDA helped sponsor the annual shoreline cleanup event. 7 large dumpsters were filled with shoreline debris, mostly old dock foam. There was hot and dry weather for the big summer holidays on the lakes, and the GRDA Police Department was out in full force to help ensure safe outings. The annual I Got Caught t-shirt campaign continued for another year and proved again to be a very popular program for boaters. Overall, all of the year's boating activities and programs went very well.
We had a good summer. The I Got Caught Wearing My Life Jacket campaign was a big success, along with our Boat Safe, Boat Smart, Boat Sober campaign. You know, throughout most of the summer, we noticed a lot of people wearing life jackets, and people would seek us out looking for the t-shirts. People did a good job of trying to obey the navigation buoys, and it was a good summer. Like, we had some good crowds, and overall our incidents were relatively low considering the number of people that came up.
Due to the lingering excessive drought, GRDA asked the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission for a variance of the Grand Lake rule curve in late summer. FERC approved the variance, and as a result, the annual drawdown of Grand Lake did not occur in August. That also allowed the authority more water for important dissolved oxygen testing below Kerr Dam through September. The hot, dry, and windy weather helped to fuel wildfires in western portions of the GRDA service area. Several personnel spent some very critical days helping to protect GRDA transmission lines in August. Crews also helped customer communities in Manford and Stillwater with restoration efforts after the fires caused damage there. Overall, GRDA was able to deal with the drought well, although it did cause some concern for some crews.
Fortunate in the areas that we've been working in to where there's been a few pop-up showers here and there throughout the system, and fortunately some of those little pop-up showers have actually been to where the locations that we're working.
On September 26th, GRDA and Google announced a joint agreement for GRDA to supply Google's Mays County data center with 48 megawatts of wind energy from the Canadian Hills project in west central Oklahoma. This agreement represents a milestone for both, marking the first time Google has contracted directly with a utility provider to increase its renewable energy consumption, and it's GRDA's first wind energy power purchase agreement. Like the KPMG audit, there were other audits specific to system reliability conducted at GRDA during the year. Fortunately, the result of those audits showed tremendous progress in the organization. A Southwest Power Pool audit of GRDA conducted late in the year demonstrated that the organization's new commitment to compliance continues to pay dividends. That commitment was stressed to all employees throughout 2012. In the fall, GRDA began a major scheduled maintenance outage on Unit 2 at the coal-fired complex. Unlike typical annual outages, this one would be more comprehensive and involve some projects that are only conducted every few years. GRDA reconnected with the rating agency personnel in the fall as representatives from both Fitch and later Moody's would come to Oklahoma for assets tours of GRDA facilities and to meet face-to-face with key employees. In early November, Fitch would affirm an A rating for GRDA and set the outlook as stable. Meanwhile, out on the eastern side of the state, work was wrapping up on the Tenise substation. That large project will provide an important reliability boost to that side of the GRDA energy delivery system.
The primary purpose of this substation was to provide an additional source for the electric grid at this end of the state, to provide backup power to the Siloam Springs substation and the town itself, and allow a connection point in the future to go either at 345 or at 161, going north or south in this area to provide additional sources for the northeast part of Oklahoma.
In mid-November, the first meeting of the new GRDA Employee Communications Group was held in Veneta. Continuing GRDA's new commitment to communications, the group was created to further enhance the channels between management and the workforce. As the year began to wind down, GRDA turned some of its attention back to lake-related issues. To help enhance public access to Grand Lake and to help facilitate the Bassmaster Classic coming to the lake in 2013, GRDA poured new boat ramps at the Wolf Creek site near Grove late in the year. Back in Langley, at the Ecosystems Building, the authority also conducted the annual Emergency Action Plan drill, bringing in law enforcement and emergency responder personnel from all across the area to discuss everyone's role if the plan had to be activated.
The importance of meeting here with GRDA and the with the authority and with all these individuals, the different emergency response agencies, in the times of the disaster, of these big time disasters, we're actually meeting with the people that we're going to be having to talk to on a regular basis and coordinate our efforts with, being that we have so many different agencies, and finding out what each agency is in charge of, what they're doing, and trying to coordinate those efforts so that we're all one unified group and one unified voice in wherever we're going in this disaster.
As 2012 came to a close, the authority was already making plans for another round of customer meetings in January 2013, as well as continuing on with the many new projects and new commitments that were created in 2012.